Hello everyone and welcome to the 2021 Proven User Conference. My name is Taylor Carmichael and I'm one of the software trainers here with Can-Am Systems. In today's production track, which is being sponsored by Clean Claims, we will be discussing the work order screen within Proven Job Management and the many advanced functionalities of the budgeting tool. The work order system is one of the most important and effective ways to budget your projects, track estimated revenue and cost, and track scheduling items. The work order system is designed to specifically budget and record what your subtrade should be paid for work performed. And overall, work orders can be utilized to budget your project in terms of gross profitability. Just a couple of housekeeping items before we get started. All attendees have been muted during today's session to cut down on any background noise or interference with another user's experience. We also recommend that all attendees turn off their web cameras to cut down on distractions. This session's recording will be made available via your company's assigned Dropbox account, and it will also be uploaded to the PSA help library. Questions can be entered in within the Zoom chat box at any time during the session, and I will review those questions at the end of the session. If we happen to run out of time and your question is not addressed during the session, there will be an FAQ guide that will be sent once the conference concludes that contains all questions and answers asked during the duration of the conference. Thank you again for joining us today, and I hope you enjoy this production track. On today's agenda, we will be reviewing the following topics together. We will be comparing the difference between the default traditional view of the work order screen compared to the inline details view. I will review how to make changes within your company settings to that work order view that you prefer to utilize. I will show you how to create and manipulate work orders, and I will also show you how to print and email work orders from Proven Job Management. By default, each PJM database comes with the traditional work order view. This view is often referred to as the drill down details view because you must select within the work order line item description in order to expand the work order estimated financial details. If you prefer a more condensed view, last summer we released the inline details view, which is comparable to our PSA desktop accounting application estimate tab. This is my personal favorite option because it allows a more condensed view of the work orders without having to expand any line item details. If you want to change your work order visibility, this can be changed within your company settings, the Jobs tab, and then within the Jobs tab, you can click on the Work Order sub-tab. And there's a small checkbox selector for Use Inline Details View. When checked, this means that the line item detail will display in full without having to drill down on the line item details. That is the condensed view. Or, if you leave it unchecked for that default traditional view, this just simply means that the line item details will need to be clicked within to drill down and expand to see and edit the line item details. Now let's navigate into Proven Job Management and I will show you how to create and manipulate your work orders. So I'm going to search for my Justin Bagwell job and I'm going to select Edit. As you can see, once we are on our Job Info tab, my estimated revenue is currently $0, and I do not have the ability to manually input a value here. Within Proven Job Management, your estimated revenue is solely driven based upon work orders. So let's navigate to our Jobs menu and click on our Work Orders tab. It's important to note that each time you create a new job within Proven Job Management, a single automated work order is created for you. This work order is intended to serve as a placeholder to enter in the estimated revenue prior to the actual estimate being ready. So dependent on your business practice, this one auto-generated work order is really intended for one of two purposes. Again, either entering in that estimated revenue, like I just mentioned, or for scheduling purposes. In this example, I am going to utilize this auto-generated work order to define my estimated revenue. So I have my work order selected. as highlighted in blue. And also right here in the middle of my screen, I can see my work order number, which corresponds to the one I have highlighted. That's beneficial to know for whenever you have a large estimate or a large amount of work orders on the screen. I now need to select my Add button to add line item details to the specific work order. Again, we are utilizing this for estimated revenue purposes, so I'm going to enter in my description of estimated revenue. The description is a requirement before I can select Save. As you toggle throughout this gray area, you'll notice that the corresponding definition highlights up here at the top. If you're ever unsure what you're clicking within, just notate what is highlighted in blue up here at the top. So I have entered in my estimated revenue description. And now over here on our right side, the blue line reflects the price and estimated revenue. That is the price your customer is paying. And the yellow line reflects your cost and your budget. So in this case here, let's just go ahead and enter in a value for our estimated revenue. Let's just say we did our initial inspection, we've laid eyes on this project. I'm going to enter in a value of $15,000. Once I have entered in the estimated revenue, I am selecting Save. And now when I go back into my job by clicking my Quick Access hyperlink, I can see my estimated revenue on my Job Info tab is now reflected at $15,000. Let's go back into our work orders on this specific job here. I'm going to select to create a work order. And now I'm going to add a line item detail. If you and your subtrade come up with an agreed upon price, you can utilize the SubtradeAgreed Quote option. So I'm going to click on this option here, and I'm going to enter in my SubtradeAgreed Quote. Let's just say we've had a conversation and agree on $1,000. I'm going to select Apply. Are you sure you want to add the specified SubtradeAgreed Quote? Yes. And now we see my description has automatically populated for me, and I have a defined cost for my SubtradeAgreed Quote of $1,000. Always ensure to select Save for any line item detail changes, revisions, or additions. Now this is a very basic example. Again, I've shown you how to enter in an estimated revenue and then also a SubtradeAgreed Quote. But let's go into a job in which I have imported an Xactimate estimate, and let's take a peek at a couple more complex advanced areas of the work order features. So I'm going to search for my job, and now I'm going to select Edit. I can already see my estimated revenue on my Job Info tab based upon the work orders that imported from my Xactimate estimate of about $30,000. Up here at the top, I'm going to hover over my Jobs menu and click on Work Orders. When you import an estimate from Xactimate, all of the work orders that are created will come into the system by category of cost, which is what you define within your Xactimate estimate. In addition, it's important to note that when you import an estimate from Xactimate, your job type gross margin percentages that you define within your company settings will not be reflected for those imported estimates. Xactimate does not recognize those specific gross margins per your defined job type in your company settings. However, you do have the ability to override the imported margins because you want your yellow line items to reflect the budget that you're attempting to work within. You have the ability to change your gross margin for your work orders in 3 different areas. When I hover my mouse over Edit and I select the option to change gross margin percentage, I can type in a value here, and this will change all work orders based upon the margin, and I'm going to select Save. Work order margin updated successfully. So now all of my work orders have a 50% gross margin. I have the ability to change my gross margin at the line item detail. So I just opened up my painting category. for work order 0439, I can see over here on the right, all of my line items for this work order are at 50%. I can simply change each one of these if I desire to do so. And lastly, the third option is to change the gross margin at the work order level down here at the bottom. So the right side of your screen is specific to your selected work order that's highlighted in blue up top, and the left side is your overall job price and cost. Again, those margins can be changed in 3 different areas. Up here at the top to change all work order gross margin, at the line item level over here on the right, or at the singular work order level down here at the bottom right. Within your company settings, you can also choose how you want your estimate to import in regards to overhead and profit and taxes. As you can see in work order 0431, my category of overhead, I can see how the overhead and profit was imported based upon what I have defined within my own company settings. So let's navigate to Settings, Company Settings. I'm going to open this in a new tab here. Click on the Integration tab and scroll down to the Xactimate area. Your options here for importing overhead and profit and material taxes are first option by estimate. This will create a separate work order containing just the overhead and profit for the estimate in its entirety. That is what we just saw with that overhead work order that I had highlighted on my previous screen. The by category option, this will add overhead and profit or taxes within each work order as a new line item detail. By item, this will calculate overhead and profit or material taxes into the line item itself, or of course you do have the option to not import your overhead and profit or taxes. On your recap by category page within your estimate, if you have any special taxes that need to be brought into Proven Job Management, you can enter in the tax description verbatim, and that information will be recognized within Proven Job Management at the time of import. Once you make any changes to your company settings, always ensure to scroll up and select Save. So let's go back into our work orders, and I want to talk about these top main menu options for my work orders. If the user that's logged in has the appropriate work order role securities in place, they will have the ability to create a new work order by selecting Create. When I hover over Edit, they will have the ability to delete work orders. The Merge option allows you to merge multiple work orders into a single work order. When this action is done, the system will keep the first work order with the smallest number. Prior to selecting Merge, we need to ensure that we have the corresponding work order selected down here on the left that we want to merge. So I'm going to merge two work orders together, my drywall category and my paint category. I am now going to hover over Edit and select Merge. This is now asking me, which work order do you want to merge into? Do I want to keep work order 0439 or 0435? We will select to merge into 0439 and select Merge. So now we can see my 0435 is now removed, and I have my 0439 paint work order available here. Once our work orders have officially merged, you can see I have my corresponding paint categories, and when I scroll down, I can see my corresponding drywall of the 0435 work order that we merged together with the corresponding paint work order. We have the ability to transfer work orders. So let's just click on a work order, hover over Edit, and select Transfer. This option allows the user to either transfer work orders to another job or duplicate work orders to another job. The transfer option will move all selected work orders from one job to another, thus removing the work order from the initial job. So in this case here, let's select we're going to transfer work order 0440 to a different job. Going to transfer this to my Sam Smith job and select transfer. Do you want to transfer the selected work orders? Yes, I do. And now we can see that 0440 work order is now gone. We transferred it to Sam Smith. If I want to duplicate a work order, let's click our work order, select transfer, and now we have the duplicate option here as well. This will keep your work order on your existing job and duplicate it onto the job that you select from your list. It will not duplicate the work order number because those work order numbers are uniquely defined within your database and can only be used once. Are you sure you want to duplicate the work orders? Select yes. Just received confirmation that that work order has been successfully duplicated. The transfer option works similarly to the PSA desktop accounting estimate transfer tool if you are used to utilizing that specific tool within that application. It does offer similar functionality. I've already shown you how to change the gross margin percent, and now I want to talk about the split material. There might be instances where you want material line items to be captured in a separate work order and not have labor included. Perhaps you, as the contractor, are going to purchase materials from Home Depot yourself because the subtrade isn't providing the materials. When you've split the materials into a separate work order, that newly generated work order will essentially become your shopping list of materials to be purchased for this job. So let's take a look at work order 0438 for my finished carpentry and trim. Category FNC. I'm going to click my checkbox selector on the left, hover over Edit, and select the Split Material option. Once I click that option down here at the bottom, it is producing the line items down here at the bottom of my specific work order. Now I can choose which line item details do I want to split out. So let's just choose two generic examples here. Let's choose the shoe molding for the base shoe and then the closet, shelf, and rod package. Over here on the right, I have options for work orders. Do I want to create a new work order with those two line items? Or do I want to send those two line items to a different work order? In this example, I am simply just going to select Create and then Save. And now up here at the top, we see I have a new work order of 0443 containing the base shoe and the closet, shelf, and rod package. I can assign this work order to a subtrade, so I'm clicking within my subtrade field, and I'm going to search for a vendor from my list. In this case, I'm selecting Home Depot. And I just received confirmation that the subtrade had been updated. As you can see down here at the bottom, again, these are my work order details over here on the right. I can see that my material and my labor have indeed been split. My material right here on the left at $118 of price, $59 of cost, and labor is reflected at 0. Let's navigate back up to the top and hover over Convert. If you are a PGM-only client that does not utilize the PSA desktop accounting application, you do have the ability to convert vouchers or invoices to QuickBooks and close work orders. However, please note, if you are a PSA desktop accounting user, that functionality must be completed within PSA desktop since that is indeed an accounting function and cannot be completed within Proven Job Management. When I hover over the Schedule feature, I am presented with two options. I can select the Calendar view if I want to create a scheduled event for the selected work order, and I can assign the scheduled work order to an internal technician or an external subtrade. When you utilize this option, please be cognizant that it is important to actually schedule a work order to serve as a bridge to connect the job to the Proven SmartTech mobile application. The work order serves as a bridge to sync to the mobile app under My Schedule. Or the second option is to view the advanced schedule, which has the ability to create a Gantt chart for your specific scheduled events and work orders and assign milestones to sync to contractor connection job track if you are integrated with that software. When I hover over the print feature, I am presented with three options. The print will print the selected work order only. So if I wanted to print this paint work order here, when I select print, again, that's only printing the selected work order. I can change my preview parameters to include or not include the work order note, the cost, and labor. Typically, this option is best utilized if you want to give a Subtrade a copy of the work order because it only shows cost and not the price. Let's select Submit so we can see what this printed version looks like of our work order. As you can see here, we have our work order line item details down here at the bottom. If I wanted to email this work order to someone, I could click this arrow icon over here on the right. I could either search for an email recipient or I can enter in an email recipient here in the middle of my screen. I can enter in the body of text that I want to send along with the copy of the work order PDF to my email recipient and then select Send. To get back to our work order screen, I'm going to click on this grid icon to take me back to my list. When I hover over print again, the print estimate, this will print all work orders with their associated price. So let's select the print estimate. Do you want to print the estimate of all work orders? Yes, I do. Again, you can manipulate your preview parameters depending on who your audience is and select Submit. I can see up top I have 4 pages of work orders. I can use my toggle feature to go back and forth between the pages. Or I can change my view to toggle multi-page mode, which will allow me to now scroll down for my 4 pages, as opposed to utilizing my arrow icons. I can export this as a PDF. I have other exporting options down here as well. I can expand my view by clicking this square icon. And then again, we can email this estimate to someone if applicable. Select the grid view to go back to list. And the third option we have is Create Attachment. This option will automatically create a PDF copy of the work order and save this within your job file attachments. So when I click on the Create Attachment button, this is now essentially asking me my preview parameters. So depending again who your audience is, you can manipulate these parameters. So we will choose to not show my cost. Yes, I want to show labor, and yes, I want to show note. I'm going to click Attach. I just got confirmation across the top that my work orders have been successfully attached. So let's go into our job by clicking on our last active hyperlink up here in the top right corner. Just to confirm, I'm going to go to my Attachments tab, and here I can see that work order. Now, when I go into my Notes tab and I want to email this to someone, I could attach this. So let's just pick a topic that's applicable here. We'll just say follow-up. Emailed work order to vendor. We can search for our email recipients, select add, and then attach down here at the bottom. Here is that work order, and we can then choose add selected. What this is doing is it is essentially creating a date and time stamp of when you emailed a work order to a vendor. So again, I showed you how to email that work order utilizing the Report Designer tool by clicking that right arrow icon, and you could simply type in an email recipient. However, there is no audit trail if you utilize that. So if you have a vendor reach out to you a couple of days from now and say, hey, I never received this, you don't necessarily have an audit trail to go back and define the date and time that you sent that work order to either a trade or your customer even. However, in this case here, when you are creating the attachment of the work order and then you create a log note, your log notes are always date and time stamped, so you will have that capability to know the day and time that you sent a work order to someone and also whom you sent that work order to. Let's go back into our work order screen. Each column across the top is searchable. Perhaps if you have a large estimate, it will be beneficial for you to be able to search by work order number, category. You have the ability to view start and end times, invoices and vouchers, any subtrades or internal attendees that you have assigned a scheduled work order to. And then certainly you can enter in your work order notes. So here for my work order 0443, I have assigned it to Subtrade Home Depot. I can also add in any applicable notes here and select Save. And you'll see that defined over here on the right. All right, so now let's transition to the middle of our screen. Again, the work order line item details that I'm looking at correspond to what I have highlighted in blue up here at the top. Each line item detail area has the ability to save, add, remove, transfer items, and enter in a SubtradeAgreed quote. Anytime you make any changes down here to your line item details, always ensure to select Save or else your changes will be lost. The transfer items will allow you to select a specific line item and move that line item or multiple line items to a pre-existing work order within the same job. So let's just say I want to transfer the closet, shelf, and rod package line item to a different work order. I can select that work order, click Transfer Items, and then select the work order that I want to send the specific line item to. So just for testing purposes, I'm going to select work order 0432 and select Transfer. And I will receive a question at the top, are you sure you want to transfer this selected work order? And yes, I do. And now you can see that line item has been removed and I'm left with one corresponding line item. And always ensure to select Save. Let's create a new work order. So I'm going to select my Create up here at the top. I just received confirmation that the work order was successfully created. And now I need to select Add to add in a new line item detail. When creating new work orders, work order numbers are created sequentially as defined within your company settings default number templates. You would never systematically see like work order numbers as these must be uniquely identifiable. As mentioned earlier, the description is required to be entered for each line item. In this example, I'm going to enter in drywall. When utilizing the unit price feature, this is looking to multiply what you have entered for the quantity. For instance, if you charge $1.60 per square feet of drywall and you have 100 feet of drywall, you can enter 100 into the quantity and $1.60 into the material unit price, and the material will auto-calculate based upon the quantity multiplier. So you can see here 100 times $1.60, and we have $160 reflected here on our screen. Select Save. I'm going to create a new work order. I'm selecting Add for my line item details. Sometimes we receive questions on how to manipulate the line item with cost but no revenue, or how to manipulate the line item with revenue and no cost. So in this example, let's first do one with cost but no revenue. In this example here, we need to place our checkbox selector and then change our gross margin to 100%. So this will now allow me to enter in a cost and no revenue. Save. I'm going to add in a new line item. And in this example, we will do revenue, but no cost. I'm going to change the gross margin to 100% and not enter in a check mark here. So now when I enter in a unit price, we'll just say 500, you can see that my unit cost did not automatically populate for me. As you know, typically whenever you enter in a unit price, it will automatically insert the unit cost to allow you to stay within your budget based upon your defined gross margin. Always ensure to select Save for your line item details and work order. To capture products and consumable job cost, we have the ability to predefine products within Proven Job Management. So I'm going to hover over Equipment and select Products. And I'm going to search for my degreaser description. You can see here that I have already entered in a cost of $49.99. I'll show you what this looks like. You can see my description, sales account, inventory, and my cost of $49.99. And the reason I bring this to your attention is because when I go to Jobs and then Work Orders again, let's select Create. I'm going to add in a new line item detail. When I begin typing in my description field for degreaser, you can see that that cost has automatically populated for me. This allows you to systematically capture products or consumables as job costs, and select Save. If interested, you also have the ability to systematically apply overhead to work orders that are created within your database. This can be done within Settings, Company Settings, Jobs. I'm going to scroll down to Edit Job Types. So I'm going to select Edit next to my cleaning job type. And within your job types, you have that area to add the revenue overhead. By utilizing this option, any work orders created on that job with that specific job type will have that percentage automatically applied. Now let's take a look as a recap at the items we have discussed together today. I have shown you a comparison and contrast between the traditional versus inline details view of your work order screen. We've taken a look at how to manipulate your company settings in terms of changing that view and also defining your revenue overhead per job type. I've shown you how to manipulate your work orders in terms of helping you with budgeting purposes. I've also shown you how to print and email work orders from our system. I will now open the floor for any questions. If you have any questions, please enter them in the Zoom chat box at this time. Thank you.